Welcome again. If anybody's popping in here, I want to say welcome. I'm so excited that you guys are here today. I got something that's going to blow your minds, hopefully, that you'll all love. So super excited to bring that to you today. Again, if you're just popping in, let me know where you guys are watching from. Definitely want to know where everybody's coming in because I do deals all over the country. So I want to know where everybody's at. Okay, about. All right. Looks like we're almost ready. Just got to get my screen share populated. Let's see. Share my screen. Okay, here we are. Cool. All right, we got people from Chicago. We got people from the display board is at an angle. Yeah, don't worry about it. That you're not going to be specifically looking at this. I'm going to be sharing my screen, so you don't have to worry about that. This is just for the background. This is for me actually to write, so you don't have to worry too much about that. We got Canada. Awesome. Maryland. Can't see the other comments. Jay, you said you can't see other people's comments? You sure? Chicago. Love it. Beverly's from Chicago. Okay. Awesome. Well, guys, let me know if you're ready to rock and roll. Give me a 1. I just want to make sure everybody's ready because when I go in it, we're going right into it. Okay. So give me a 1 if you guys are ready to roll. Again, I want to make sure because once I get started, there's no turning back. We're going deep and we're going all in on this thing. Okay. Okay. All right. You guys said you're ready. Let me crack open my my bubbly because I'm going to get parched during this presentation. So I gotta hydrate up real quick. All right. We got some people that are saying 1, they're ready. I'm so excited to bring this to you guys today. Super pumped. So let's go right into it. Let me share that screen for you. And let me pull up those comments because I want to be responding to you as we go, everybody. Okay, here it is. Okay, we got another one. All right, you guys ready? You can see the screen, ready to roll? No problems? Okay. All right. That was the prep work. That was to get you guys all excited about today. All right, everybody. Today, what we're going to be going over is mastering the sales process as a wholesaler in 2025. If you have not mastered the sales process, guys, it's time to master it. Why? Because you want to close more deals. So I got your back. Today, I'm going to be giving away my free seller solutions playbook. It's going to go over all the different options that you can offer a seller instead of just wholesaling specifically, instead of just doing that. Because if you're just relying on wholesaling, you're making a mistake. You got to be able to do multiple different extra strategies. So I'm going to be giving you my seller solution playbook. You're going to be getting that for free if you stay to the very end. So that's it, everybody. We're going to dive right in. If you want to crush 2025, let me know right now. Just comment, yes, Nate, I'm ready to freaking crush it, or just type in crush. I want to know. Are you guys with me? Because this presentation, I spent like 5 hours making this thing. This is crazy. Maybe I shouldn't have spent that long, but I really wanted to deliver for you guys. So deliver for me and just say crush, say yes, let's freaking go. It's time to go to the next slide, everybody. Let's freaking get into it. Okay. So if you don't know who I am, quickly, I'm going to let you know who I am because a lot of people are like, who's this guy and why should I listen to him? Okay. My name is Nathan Payne, but this year specifically, I'm going by Professor Payne. Why? Because my goal is to give you the best trainings that you could ever imagine, absolutely free, so you guys can go out and crush it. I'm not holding anything back, and I'm preparing as much as I can to deliver for you guys so you can hit your real estate goals. I've done millions in transactions. Here are the transactions I've done to prove it. And I love teaching. I love wholesaling, and that's why I'm doing it. My goal is to help wholesalers do 2 to 3 deals a month consistently, but you got to start. If you're not there yet, it's okay. You got to start with a foundation, and that's what these trainings are for, is to help you improve your foundation. Founder of Painless Flipping. Obviously, my name's Nathan Payne, so I call what I do Painless Flipping, and the apprenticeship program that I have where I work with people individually. Okay. So To let you know a little bit more about myself, I got my degree at Brigham Young University, Idaho. I got my degree in business management because I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do at the time, but I ended up getting into real estate because it helped me achieve. It was more aligned with what I wanted to do in my financial goals. But really, guys, I wanted to be a teacher. My whole life, I wanted to be a teacher because I enjoyed working with people. But being a teacher didn't align with my financial goals. But luckily, now that I know how to teach wholesaling, now I know how to teach real estate because I've done it, I can align my passion of teaching and include it with real estate. Okay, I love teaching. My goal is to make wholesaling simple. When I first got into wholesaling, it was actually kind of confusing. Like, how do I talk to sellers? What do I do? There's a lot of different steps here. And are you with me, guys? Like, do you agree? Like, wholesaling can be a little confusing when you don't know how to market, how to talk to sellers, how to dispo. There's a lot of different things. It's a very simple concept, but it can be complicated, especially if you overcomplicate it. So my goal is to make it simple. And these are a few of the people that I've taught. And some of the clients I've had, some of the people that I've just given advice to. These are people I've worked with, and I love seeing people make money, and I love seeing people learn and understand what we're doing. So that's why we're doing this training. So if you guys are ready to roll, I'm looking right now, right here at the comment section, guys. Are you guys working or something? Like, I want to make sure you're locked in. So give me a 1 if you guys are ready, because this is just a quick intro to who I am. But what you're about to see, guys, is it's about to get pretty in depth. So let me know if you guys are ready. Just say ready in the chat, and we'll hop on to the next slide. And if I don't hear anything from you guys, I'll just assume you're just already awestruck by what I've given you so far, which is pretty much nothing. Okay, well, let's move on. All right, we're going to move on to the next slide. And this is what we're going to be going over today, guys. Today, we're going to be going over the sales cycle, okay? The sales cycle of wholesaling. A lot of people, they don't have too much experience in sales or sales background, which is totally fine. You need to know how to work with sellers. You need to know how to navigate the sales process. So that's what we're going to be going over to today, is the sales cycle for wholesaling. That's why we're here today, so you can convert more deals. Because who cares if you can generate a ton of leads if you can't convert them? A lot of people think, oh man, I need to generate more leads because I'm not getting enough leads to deals. When in all reality, maybe you're just not that good at the sales cycle, the sales process, and you're actually not converting. That could be the problem. Okay, so that's what we're going to be going over today, everybody, is the sales cycle itself. Now I'm going to show you right here. This is the sales cycle of wholesaling. And actually, this is the sales cycle of most businesses right now. Well, not right now, but just in general. You're planning your sales activities. Okay. So if you guys look at this graphic right here that I got, most of the training and most of my education and sales that I love is from Franklin Covey, the sales guys. Amazing stuff, which we're going to be going over today. But, when you plan your sales activities, what this means is what are the activities that you're going after? What are you doing? So that would be wholesaling, right? That's the wholesaling. That's the sales activity that you're doing. Wholesaling, direct to seller, direct to agent. Okay. It's planning how you're going to wholesale. That's what the first part of the sales cycle is. Then it's filling your pipeline with leads. Okay, after you decide what you want to do for sales, you have to decide how you're going to fill that pipeline up and work with sellers, right? Work with leads. Doesn't have to be sellers. That's just is because we're in real estate. Okay, so then you fill up that pipeline. That is marketing. Okay, that's filling that pipeline up. Okay. Next is you have to, with the leads that you generate, you have to qualify them. If you do not know how to qualify your leads, if you don't know how to work with those leads and convert them, then you might as well light your money on fire. And that's the problem with people that get into wholesaling is they're like, well, I need to generate leads, but they don't know how to qualify. They don't know how to talk to sellers. So that's what we're going over today. That's going to be the main focus of where we're going. Once you qualify the sellers, it's rinse and repeat. Win more consistently. You have to get better at this process. Does everyone understand what I'm showing you guys? It's a sales cycle of knowing what you're doing for your sales activity, generating leads, converting them, and doing it over and over and over again. Okay. Today, specifically, we're going to be focusing on qualifying leads. I'm not going to be going over how to generate leads because there's so many different ways to generate leads and fill your pipeline. That can be for another lesson. But this one is specifically on qualifying your opportunities and then closing deals. So my question for everybody that's watching this is, what's the biggest challenge that you guys have in the sales cycle? I want to interact with you. I want to know what you're facing. Okay. What's the biggest challenge that you have in the sales cycle? Is it knowing what sales activities you want to do? Well, if you're here, you probably know you're trying to wholesale, or you're trying to fix and flip. You're trying to just get those opportunities to do the deal, right? The sales activity. If you're here, you probably know what sales activity you want to do. Okay. Are you struggling with filling your pipeline with qualified opportunities? And when I say qualified opportunities, that's people that have a house, right? Right. That's as much as we can know at this point when you're generating leads, people that have a house and people that want to sell. Okay. Are you struggling with that most? Is that your problem? Or is it qualifying them and not knowing the best way to convert them? Let me know. Okay. And then obviously, if you're good at all three of those, you're winning more consistently and you're doing it. Okay. Let me know in the chat. Let me know, guys, if which ones you think you're facing, is the biggest struggle for you guys. Okay. Man, I don't know if my internet's working or not. Are you guys there? Maybe hold on. Let me see. I feel like you guys are sleeping, or maybe it's just my internet. I don't know. I see there's people in there, but I don't know if you guys are with me. Is anybody there? Give it 1, 2, just say something. Anybody? I can act like there's some people there. That's fine. Oh, okay. NB, you're there. Yes, you're there. Okay. Well, guys, what do you think? What is your biggest problem in the sales cycle of wholesaling, right? And if it's okay if you guys are like, hey, I haven't even wholesaled yet. Like, I don't even know what a sales cycle. That's okay. At least you let me know where you're at, because again, I want to gear this training more towards you all. So I know how to make this the best lesson possible. I'm not just yapping up here. I want to make sure you guys are doing. So NB, Wellington, where do you feel? And if you're not there yet, where do you feel like your problem would be? Would it be in knowing how to have conversations with sellers? Would it be in filling that pipeline? Where do you think that problem would be? Let me know. As you guys are typing in, and anybody that's going to be watching this in the future, yeah, type it in. Let me know, because I do read these and I'm going back, and I do make sure that my future lessons are geared around what you guys need. Okay. So most people believe that generating leads is the main issue. They're like, man, I just need more leads. I need more leads, right? Because I'm not closing as many deals, so I need more leads. Guys, what I found that the main issue is people are not good at converting and qualifying leads. They're not good at having those conversations, okay? I know you think you need more leads, and more leads is always important. It is. But if you do not know how to convert them, there's no point in generating tons of leads, especially if you're spending money, okay? Because if you can't have those conversations, which I'm going to show you today, like the right process, the right way to do it to feel comfortable, then again, it could be a complete waste of time. Let's see. NB says filling the pipeline and negotiating a deal with the seller that I can still wholesale. Okay, so agreed. I would say most of the issues people have are right here in the sales cycle is filling the pipeline and converting, right? Like if you know the sales activity you want to do, it's pretty simple. And then winning more consistently. If you're good, you're going to keep doing it, right? So agreed, right? That's the main issue. But I would say let's focus on qualifying opportunity, because there are opportunities everywhere, right? That you can fill the pipeline. You can do direct to seller, direct to agent, direct to wholesaler. There's so many different opportunities, but can you convert them? All right. So that's where we're going. And sorry if I'm just beating you guys, but again, I don't want to just be talking up here. I want to make sure I'm helping you out. So if you guys are with me, give me a 1 in the chat and just let me know you're with me, because we're going to the next slide, and I'm going to make sure that I'm delivering and coming with the energy. So give me a 1. MB, appreciate you Beverly, thank you, Beverly. Awesome. Good to see you. All right, let's go to the next one. Next slide, where we talk about the types of sellers that you can work with. Okay, there's a lot of different sellers you can work with, everybody. You have direct, and by sellers, I mean like types of people that you can work with and do deals with. Okay, in the sales process, the process I'm about to show you works with any of these type, but we're going to be focusing specifically on direct to seller. There's direct to agent, that's doing deals on the MLS. Okay, there's direct to wholesaler, that's JVing with wholesalers. And then there's direct to seller, where you're working with sellers that are in pre-foreclosure, probate, tired landlords, vacant properties, etc. Enter in any level of motivation. We are going to be focusing on direct to seller today and working directly with sellers that are not listed or already under contract with a wholesaler. We're going directly to these people. Okay, when you fill that pipeline, we're filling it with people that are off market. All right. Drop seller if you guys have ever talked to a seller directly. Actually, that's important for me to know. I want to know if anybody that's in here or will watch, have you ever talked to a seller directly, or have you done most of your deals direct to agent? Have you done most of your deals direct to wholesaler? Or have you never done a deal before and you're just learning, which is completely fine. Type seller if you guys have ever talked to a seller before. And if you haven't, this is the perfect training for you, because now you're going to know exactly how to talk to a seller. And if you have talked to sellers before, now you're going to know the best way to do it. Okay. We got NB in here. He's saying he or she, NB, I just see NB. Those are the initials. They're saying that they have talked to a seller. I would probably say that most of the people that are watching this right now probably haven't done a deal, which is completely fine. We got someone else saying, my only issue is finding good active vibes. I have a few agents that send me, it says vibes, but I don't know if that was the right word. I have a few agents that sent me some off-market properties already this week, but I had to pay because I need buyers. Had to pay to paid. Not 100% sure what you mean by that, John, but it looks like you are saying that you work direct to agent, which is cool. That's definitely cool. We got another one saying to get a seller deal and buyer at the same time, the best way to close. Okay, that's what Wellington's saying. He's saying that what he's struggling with is to get a seller deal and a buyer at the same time and the best way to close it. Well, again, we're going over this. Wellington, you're going to be know exactly at least how to have the best conversations with sellers. And if you do deals the painless way, like I do it, you can find buyers the same time that you're working with a seller, even if you don't have it under contract, because that's the best way to do it, instead of just waiting, getting under contract, and then trying to find buyers. If you can do it simultaneously by having great relationships with buyers, leveraging them to help you in the negotiation, it's just a full-blown process that's good, okay? All right, guys, thanks for the participation. I'm loving it. It's picking up. The participation is picking up, and I like that. I love it. All right. So next slide, everybody. Why sales skills matter. If you guys are watching this presentation and you're like, look, I'm snoozing, Nate. Why do sales skills even matter? Who cares about that stuff? I don't need to know that. I'm going to tell you why it matters, because I have a story. All right, guys. When I came from door-to-door sales and went into wholesaling, I thought I was going to crush it. I absolutely thought I was the man at selling. I was like, oh man, I did door-to-door sales for 6 years. I sold tons of accounts. I was one of the top reps in the company. Yeah, I got this. I know how to sell. So I had a lot of sales experience, right? When I was 19 years old to 21 years old, I went on a mission for my church where I talked to people about Jesus for 2 years, got a lot of no's. So that's not technically selling religion or sales, but I would say I was good at talking to people, overcame the fear of talking to people. Then from 21 to about 26, I did door-to-door sales while I was in college, and I ran sales trainings, and yeah, it was good, and I would go sell. So after door-to-door, after college and door-to-door sales, I quit that, and I went right into wholesaling, right? And I had no experience with selling homes or talking to sellers, and I thought I was going to crush it. I'm like, oh man, I'm going to be good. I know what I'm doing, guys. Nothing could be further from the truth. When I moved into wholesaling, I struggled bad because when I was talking to sellers, I was trying to convince them that they should go with a low cash offer. I wasn't saying, hey, go with a low cash offer. I was saying, hey, you should, we can buy your house. It's fast, easy, and convenient. And we pay all your closing costs and you don't have to worry about anything. And I was pitching that to everybody. I was pitching that to everybody when I was cold calling, and they're like, get lost, dude. Or like, I'm not interested. And I was sitting there like, what in the world's going on? I thought like, people don't want me to buy their house. They're not interested. I didn't get it because I was number one, when I was filling my leads with my pipeline with leads, I was filling it with people who were not the right people. Right. I was trying to convince everybody that they needed to sell. Right. But what you realize is you have to find the right opportunity and you have to have the right conversation. So my sales skills from door to door, when you knock on a door and you try to convince someone that you can give them a better deal, does not work, right? It does not work in wholesaling. The traditional way of that a lot of people were taught, at least I was taught, where you can convince and sometimes even pressure tactics didn't work. So I had to learn a better way to sell, right? I had to learn a better way to understand how to help people succeed and accomplish what they're trying to accomplish with their goals. Okay. So and what we're about to get into is the sales process. If I would have known this sales process I'm telling you right now, I would have crushed both wholesaling in the beginning, which I eventually learned it. And I would have crushed door to door, even more than I did on door to door. Right. But yeah, if I would have known that. So let me ask you guys, drop a 1 if you've ever felt this in the same situation as me, where you're like, oh, I'm good at talking to people. I'm good at sales. But it just hasn't worked out for you, or it didn't work out until you try to improve your sales ability. Let me know. Give me a 1 if you've been in that situation where you're like, you thought you had the skill set and you were just going to close everything. And now that you're in wholesaling, you're like, oh man, this isn't what I thought it was. This is a little harder than what I thought. Let me know. Give me a 1 because I'd love to hear your guys' feedback. Okay. So, and let me tell you guys, right here in this book, this is where you guys are getting a lot of the training for today. Is Franklin Covey sales training. It talks about how to pretty much sell the right way. A lot of us are taught the wrong way to sell, pressure tactics, trying to win-lose situations where you win, but maybe the seller doesn't feel like they won. I studied this, and this is the way to sell. Okay, so we're going to be going over that. And then this is another book that I studied. It's called Let's Get Real or Let's Not Play. This is another sales book that is absolutely incredible. So if you guys are wondering, hey, did I just make all this stuff up? Absolutely not. This is stuff that I've learned through studying and practice. So let's dive into the next slide. So what is this sales process I keep on talking about? Okay. Why is it so important? Okay, so I call this the painless sales process, all right? And I call it the painless sales process mainly because it is painless. It's very transparent, okay? Transparent. There's no pressure. Who wants to sell? Who would like to sell like that, where there's no worries? If it works out, great. It's just a really chill way to sell. Like, hey, if this works out, great. If not, no problem. Who would like to feel like in a position where they're not so concerned if they said something right or wrong, or if they the way we sell and the way I'm about to teach you is you completely throw your hands up and you just say, hey, we're just here to see if this makes sense and we can work together. There's no problem. If this doesn't work out, that's okay. I can point you in the right direction. Okay. So you take yourself outside of like, hey, I have to win this deal. I have to crush this. I have to get this. And you say, hey, I'm here to help the seller succeed. I'm here to help them have the best option. And if it works out that we work together and it's a win-win, I'm really happy. That's how I've changed my sales technique over the years. And it's changed the way I interact with everybody. Everyone I try to talk to, I'm looking for a win-win scenario, not a win-lose where I win and they lose, or I lose and they win. It's always win-win, or you walk away, or it doesn't work. If you are going to win big on a deal and the seller's going to lose really bad, but you're like, whatever, I don't care. You walk away, right? Because it's not worth it. It's not worth it to take advantage of people. It's not worth it to do things the wrong way. You got to do it the painless way. You got to do it transparent. You got to do it right so you can sleep well at night and feel good about what you do. Okay. So guys, give me a 1 in the chat if you're like, yeah, I want to sell like that. I want to be transparent. I want to feel confident. I want to feel happy and not freaking concerned. And what's another word? Bad about what I'm doing or anxious. Guys, I used to feel super anxious about the way, like, oh, I hope this works out. I hope they don't back out of me, or I hope they don't talk to another buyer or another wholesaler. Now it's like, dude, I'm going to work with them and they're going to work with me because they trust me and we like each other. It's not because I force them to do anything. And I'm going to explain why that's so important. Okay. Because if you feel like you're walking on eggshells all the time and you're like, oh man, I hope no one tells them that they can list their house for more money. That's the wrong way to do it. Okay. It's never going to work out. At least you're not going to enjoy the job. Okay. All right. We got NB saying 111 NB wants to know how to do this. So let's get right into it. All right. So the painless way it's a simple way to help sellers feel confident with working with you, and you can close more deals. So guys, what we're going to be covering in the next couple of slides is enabling decisions. This is some of the terminology from the training of Franklin Covey, but you want to enable the seller to feel like they can make the best decision possible. Not what's the best decision so you make money, but what's the best decision for them to succeed. Okay, so that's the number one. You want them to succeed by helping the seller feel comfortable and addressing any concerns that they might have. Let me ask you guys questions as I'm doing this, going through this. Why do sellers hesitate? Why are sellers so hesitant to answer your call or work with you? What do you think? Why do you think sellers are hesitant to work or give you information? Number one, I'll tell you, for me, and I would love to see what you guys think, is they feel like people, if they give you too much information, you're going to take advantage of them, right? And the problem is they don't trust you. They don't trust really anybody because they think everybody's trying to take their house. Okay. So trust is a big issue. And that's a big issue in life in general. Like, how many of you guys see stuff on social media and you're like, see some guy driving a Ferrari and you're like, I don't even know if I can believe that. I don't know if I trust that that's real. It's hard to believe things these days. Like even if you see it with your eyes, you're like, I don't know. Is that AI? Is that even real? So I think trust is a big issue. What other issues? What other things make you guys think sellers hesitate? Type it in. So the next strategy or the next part of the painless process is win fast, lose fast. You have to qualify leads quickly. Okay. And you have to get them in or out of your pipeline as fast as you can because you can't be wasting time. When I first got started and I had like 1 or 2 leads, I would hold on to that lead with all my might and I would be wasting time because it just wasn't the right time, but I was trying to force it. I had a lot of girlfriends that it was like that too. It wasn't the right fit. It wasn't the right girl, but I just held on because I was like, oh, you know what? I don't have enough prospects. I'm just going to hold on and hope this works out. If any of you have felt like that when you've been dating people in your life where you're just like, look, I don't want to look anymore. I'm just going to try and make this work. Get that out of here. I used to do that. Comment a 1 if you feel like that. And comment a 2 if you're like, hey, I'm not here to talk about my relationship, Nate. But anyway, win fast, lose fast. In dating or in sales, get in fast. Like you got to find out if it's going to work out. You don't have to, don't wait. Don't try to force it. Qualify leads quickly and avoid wasting time. All right. Time is our most important resource. It's our greatest resource in life. So don't be wasting it. All right. Another question I have for you guys is who's wasted time on a bad lead? Me. I spent a year following up with an old lady who wasn't even really going to be able to make the decision to sell her house just because she would answer the phone and she said she wanted to sell and I was new. So I would just talk to her. I spent a year talking to her. And then eventually, like one time I was talking to her and her daughter, like I'm talking to her on the phone and her daughter comes in and she's like, who are you talking to, Grandma? And she's like, oh, I'm talking to a guy who wants to buy my house. And she's like, give me that phone. And she took the phone from Grandma. She's like, leave my grandma alone, you scumbag. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I wasn't trying to do anything to the grandma. Obviously, I was talking to her for a year. I thought she wanted to sell, but then I realized, hey, like there was no reason to talk to that lady for that long. It just like she wasn't even going to be able to make the right decision. If anything, I needed to ask her, hey, look, is there anyone else involved in this decision-making process? Are you sure you can sell it? Blah, blah, blah. I would have dug in deeper like I do now, which I'm going to show you. So anyway, who's wasted time on leads? I have, and like I said, guys, that story of the lady calling me scumbag, I wasn't a scumbag. I thought she wanted to sell. She told me she did, but it came off like that. I should have found out faster, okay? So handling objections is the next part of the process. Guys, if you hear an objection, it's the saying, if there's an elephant in the room, like you got to call it out, right? Or if you feel like there's something wrong, freaking call it out. Handling objections. If you just wait, if you hear an objection or something that sounds a little off and you're just like, oh, whatever, we'll keep going and I'll keep asking, questions about the property condition and then I'll make my offer and I hope it all works out. No. If I feel something's off, I call it out. That's what handling objections is. You have to build that trust by saying, oh, hey, you just said something. And before we move on, I want to make sure I understand what you meant. Okay. Build that trust. If you feel something's off, talk to the seller about it, overcome the objections. And the last question I have for you guys on this slide is, what's the hardest objection you've ever faced? Okay. I'd love for you guys to share it in the comments. For me, the hardest objection I ever faced, well, there are objections that probably you can't overcome. Like, for example, the grandma, let's go to that one. That was a tough objection. Like, quit talking to my grandma, you scumbag, and she hung up. Like, how am I supposed to overcome that? Well, I would say I didn't even do the process right. So overcoming that objection is pretty dang hard. She already thinks I'm a scumbag. What am I going to do? Like, text her, hey, I just wanted to prove to you I'm not a scumbag. I don't know. That was a tough one. Okay. That's a really tough one to overcome, but that's not something that a lot of you guys face. And you won't face that if you deal with this process of enabling decisions, winning fast and losing fast, and handling the objections as soon as they come. Stick around, guys, till the end of this. If you're watching this, stick around because I'm going to be giving you my seller's playbook that's going to show you all the different options that are available to you guys to do more deals with sellers. So you're going to be getting that. I just have to remind you in case you guys forgot that are watching this. Okay, I'm going to do a little check-in. All right, we're about to dive in deep into the painless sales process, but I've got to make sure that you're with me, everybody, because I want to know who's there so I can talk directly to you. Because again, this is for you. So give me, just type in the word here if you're watching this. Okay, if you're live, and if this is live, you're watching it in the future in an encore recording. Just type it in too, because I read these. So type in here. Okay, Beverly, good to see you. Lisa, oh Lisa, love it. Jawan here. Okay, let me ask you guys before we move into the next slide. How are you vibing with this? Does this make sense? Are you understanding it, or am I going too fast? I want to know. Wellington, thank you. Are you guys vibing? Because is this good? By the way, is this good? Juwan is on YouTube first. Okay, perfect. Now I'm glad you're in here. Makes sense. Okay, you liking this so far? Do you feel like this resonates with what you want and you need? Like, do you feel like being transparent and being open and honest and having integrity and listening to sellers and not pressuring them and feeling good about what you're doing? I'm assuming you all want that. Do you guys feel like this is going towards that direction? I hope you guys all do, but I want to hear from you before we go to the next slide. We got Juwan saying makes sense. Just closing next week on my first wholesale deal. I totally agree with this whole slide. Is yes, Lisa. Everybody give Lisa a round of applause. Lisa is closing on her first wholesale deal next. It says next week. Congratulations, Lisa. You are awesome. We're proud of you for taking action. Beverly says yes. This resonates with me. Who else is this? Give me the vibes, people, because we're about to go in deep. It was 3 months in the making. Congratulations, Lisa. We're proud of you again for staying in there. We got Larry saying here yes. Jack. Okay, great. We got more and more people engaging. Way to go, Lisa. Everybody, again, round of applause for Lisa closing on her first wholesale deal next week. Congratulations. In the Facebook group, Lisa, if you're a part of our Facebook group, Painless Flipping, Wholesaling Real Estate Simplified, go in there and tell people how you got the deal. I think people would love to see that, just if you leave a little post for everybody. Awesome. Yeah, go ahead. Let everybody know how you got it. That's amazing. All right. Okay, we're going in. I'm excited to show you guys the transparent, the painless way to talk to sellers. Hopefully it blows your mind like it did when I first learned this, because again, I was trying to convince sellers to sell to me. I was trying to hard close them. I was trying to make them feel like they had to go with me. This is what I mean by the bad way to do sales. Oh, hey, my offer is 120K and it's good for 24 hours and you have 24 hours to sign my agreement, or I have to go buy another property and you're going to lose out. Who's ever heard that? Who's ever heard that strategy of the hardball, right? Like, oh yeah, I'm buying a lot of properties, and if you really want to work with me, then you got to accept my offer right now. Who's heard? I know when I first started, that was like a tactic that they told me. They're like, oh yeah, you got to make them feel like there's scarcity and kind of pressure them into it. That's not what we do here. Maybe you can add in a little bit of hey, but you're honest about it, right? You're honest with the process of what's going on. You're not just saying stuff so you can make people feel like they need to do something when they're not ready yet. Okay. So I'm sure everybody's felt like that, but let's go to the next slide. All right. Focus on enabling decisions. That's the number. We're going to be diving into everything a little bit more deep, but focus on enabling decisions is the first thing we're going to be going over. We want to make sellers feel comfortable working with us. That is our goal. We want them to feel, and what is another word for comfortable? We want people to trust us, equals trust. Okay. That's what we want. I want to work with someone that I trust. I don't care if they got 1 million years of experience or not. I've got to trust you. That's how wholesalers that are new are winning deals against other people. Maybe they have tons of experiences because maybe they were able to build more trust. Okay. Does everyone agree that trust is what usually gets deals done, whether that's a buyer trusts you, a cash buyer trusts you and you get it done, or a seller trusts you? Trust. So how do you build that trust? With open conversations, enabling decisions, honesty, being transparent, not forcing people to work with you. If you can show people that you want a win-win situation and that if they don't work with you, it's fine, they're going to feel more comfortable working with you. So that's what we mean by enabling decisions. When you talk to a seller, you want to start with the end in mind. You want to let them know why you're talking to them. Hey, this is an example. Hey, John, how's it going? My name's Nathan. I know we had talked a little bit back and forth on text, but I just want to let you know the purpose of us talking or this call today is just to see if we would be a good option to work together and for me to buy your house. Or if I can't buy your house, that's totally fine too. At least I'll be able to point you in the right direction on what you should do to sell your property. But anyway, that's my goal. Does that work for you? Does that sound good? Yeah, it does sound good. Okay. And like I said, if we don't end up working together, that's completely fine. At least you'll have more information and you'll know a little bit more on what you should do for the sale of your property. Okay. So that's the end in mind. You're letting them know, hey, if we work together, great. If we don't, it's okay. No pressure, no hard feelings. Just here to see if we can work together. That's it. Got that, everybody? Start with the end in mind. Do they believe they have a problem to solve? Okay. That's a really important one too, is because if you just call someone and say, hey, you want to sell the house on 123 Main Street? Yeah, I've been thinking about it. Okay, great. Can you tell me about the condition? Can you tell me about why you want to sell? Can you tell me? And you just go right through like a script. You don't really know if they have a problem that they want to solve. Why would anyone sell at a discount, or why would anyone sell to a cash buyer? Because they usually have a problem they want to solve. They want to sell fast, easy, convenient. They have a problem. There's a problem there. And if you can help them identify what that problem is, maybe they already know. They're like, hey, I'm in pre-foreclosure. I need to sell. Okay, well, they just told you the problem, right? But you want to make sure that that it's actually a problem, right? Because let me give you an example. So if someone's like, yeah, I want to sell, my roof is leaking, right? That's the problem. That's the surfacey problem that they're telling you about. My roof, it's leaking, all right? Well, you don't just say, oh, cool, your roof's leaking. All right, great. My offer is 120K. Or you just don't go into like, just continue. You want to probe that problem. You want to be like, hey, oh man, that's really bad. Unfortunate that your roof is leaking. Is it causing a lot of issues for you? Is it causing a lot of issues for you and the family? And that's what I mean, like by probe it, like see if it's really a problem they want to solve. Because if it's not really that big of a deal, they'll say, you know what, actually, it's not that big of a deal. I actually don't think I need to sell that fast, or I might take some time, right? I might take some time to think about this. But you want to find out if it's something that they want to act on quick. Is it a problem they want to solve now? So let's say, oh yeah, it's leaking just a little bit. You know, actually, I might just call a roof guy. I have some money. I don't really need to sell my house. But on the other hand, if you're like, hey, is it that big of an issue? They're like, yes, it's a huge issue. The water's coming in. It's like molds everywhere. We can barely breathe. It's super cold. It's causing major issues. I just want to get out of here. So there you go. So you find out if that problem is big enough for them to want to solve. All right. Another example of finding out the problem and really finding out if it's big enough is, let's say this. Oh, I have a rental. Okay. And you want to sell because you don't want to be a landlord anymore? Nah, I don't want to be a landlord anymore. Well, why not? You know, you obviously bought it I'm just curious, right? I just want to understand the situation. Why do you want to sell? You obviously bought it because you want to be, have some rentals. Oh yeah, I got into it because, I wanted to make some money, but it's taken up a lot of my time and I'm just kind of don't want to deal with it. Okay. So you don't want to deal with it? And they're like, oh, actually, I don't know. Like, it's not that big of a deal. I might keep it. I'm just kind of exploring my options. Okay. Then you're finding out if it's really that big of a deal. But if you're like, oh, you might want to keep it, you might not. Oh no, honestly, the tenant is terrible. It's just been super annoying. Every tenant I've had there has been an issue, a problem. Every time they move out, I got to pay money. I'm losing money. I'm bleeding. Like I'm spending a lot of money. I'm throwing away good money after bad. Then you're identifying if that issue is really that big of a deal. Okay. I kind of beat this one up really good because I'm telling you guys, this is really, really important in the sales process. You got to let them know why you're talking, and you have to help them understand and believe if they actually have a problem that's big enough for them to do something about. Because if there's not a problem big enough for them to do something about, they're just going to drag their feet, and you're not going to get a deal. Right. So one last example, and then I want to ask you guys if you guys are vibing, if you guys understand what I'm saying. Seller, you're talking to a seller. They say, I have a giant house and I'm thinking about downsizing. That's their problem. That's why they're talking to you, because they're like, I might sell. I got a big house. I'm thinking about moving into a smaller house. Okay. Does that sound like that big of a problem? Not really. Does that sound like something where they're going to really act fast and they're going to be like, yes, I will sell. I need to take care of this thing. Now, I'm not saying you can't work with that person, but it's not going to be the typical person that we work with necessarily that's like, yes, I need to go. They're like, oh, yeah, I have a lot of money. I don't need to downsize. It's just something I was thinking about. So then you take that problem and you say, okay, so it doesn't seem like that's that big of a deal to you then if you sell or not. Now, I'm just talking to you because you called me. Oh, okay, great. Then you're identifying if that is a motivated seller or if there's really a problem that you can solve. You guys feeling me on this one? Like I want to check in on you because I'm going deep on these, but I want to make sure you understand what I mean by helping the person identify or believe if they really have a problem that's that big. Because if it's not that big to them, they're probably not going to do anything about it. And you have to help them identify that as in the sales process of enabling decisions. Let me know in the comment section, guys, right now. If you know I'm talking, if you've been in that situation, or do you just gloss over this? Do you guys just gloss over when you're talking to a seller and they tell you a problem? You're like, oh, okay. So let's keep talking about your property or your roof, or you're just moving on in the script. Now, I would say you want to stick in. This is the part of the sales process where you want to stick in. I would say like 10, I was going to say a percentage, but 10% doesn't make sense. I would say 80%. 80% of your time, you want to be focusing on the problem, if it's real, and how to solve it. Okay? That's it. I totally do this. Find the problem, offer solutions. Lisa, That's why you're doing a deal. Right there, everybody that's listening. Lisa's, it's been 3 months and she's doing a deal. It took me 3 months to do my first deal. If you haven't done a deal yet, guys, and it's been over 3 months, maybe ask yourself, hey, am I really digging in and finding out if the problem is really a problem? Okay, good job, Lisa. I appreciate you. Yes, you have to identify the pain point. You have to, Beverly. Exactly. Okay, so not working together is okay. I told you guys about this earlier, but letting them know, hey, I'm not here to pressure you. We're either going to work together or not. I have some solutions. I can make you an offer, or I can offer you some solutions to sell your house. If we work together, great. And if not, no problem. I talk to a lot of people. No harm, no foul. Okay. Oh, whew. What did happen when you say that? Oh, this guy's not just going to pressure me. This guy's not going to make me feel like I have to continue to talk to him. No, we're going to end the call if it doesn't make sense. I don't know if any of you have been to like a car dealership where you're like the whole time you're like, oh my gosh, like it's getting close to the point where they're going to ask me if I want to buy and they're not going to let me go. No, like nobody likes that feeling. And the whole situation is tense if you don't release that tension by just enabling the decision and making them feel comfortable to trust you and be like, hey, I'm going to let you go. If this doesn't work out, no problem. I'm not going to hold you hostage. All right. Another thing that I love doing in my sales process is asking what options they've already explored. Okay. So if I'm talking to someone for the first time, I don't know if they've talked to a real estate agent yet. I don't know if they've talked to 10 other wholesalers. I don't know where they're at in their sales process, right? In the process of selling their home. So instead of me just going right into my script or whatever I think is important, I say, hey, now that you've told me a little bit about why you're selling, your problem, we've kind of identified the solution. Now that we've already talked about, my purpose on this call, what have you done already to sell your house? What options have you already explored to sell your home? Well, I've talked to my Aunt Joan who can list my house. I've talked to 10 other wholesalers and blah, 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 blah. Whoa, great. Thanks for all the information. You just saved yourself like an hour-long conversation or another 20 minutes because they've given you so much ammo and information. You can just say, oh, okay, you've already talked to 10 other wholesalers. You're talking to me. How come you haven't gone with any of the other 10 wholesalers? Oh, it's because they all offered me way too low. Like, oh, okay. Well, if you don't mind me asking, what did they offer you? Just so I know I don't waste your time and give you an offer that's lower than that. Oh, they all offered me blah, 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 blah. So now she's like, they offered me 120. They offered me 100,000. And one offered me 50K. And I'm like, okay, so you haven't accepted any of those. And I'm assuming you didn't accept them because they're not going to meet your needs. What would make sense for you? Then I just cut right into it. I just cut to the chase. What price would make sense? Because obviously you've already gone through the process of talking to people. She's like, if I could get 125, I would do it. Oh, okay. Well, let me see if that would make sense. There you go. You've built the trust. You enabled the decision. And you've asked what options they explored, and they just gave you the price. Guys, I've done so many deals like this where it's just like, oh, I just found out what options they've explored. They trust me, and then I get a deal done, and there's not like a lot of pressure. It's just like, hey, okay, that's what you've done. And if they're like, well, I've talked to my agent. That's my friend. Oh, why don't you go with them? They're your friend. Okay, again, I'm looking for that win-win. The win-win for me is they win, and if I win because I had a good time talking with them, why don't you go with that agent? It's your friend. Oh, you know what? I don't know. I don't want to listen. I don't want to wait. Okay, so that's really not an option then. Now, listing's not an option. It's my friend, but I don't really want to list it. That's what they said. Let's continue. Let's continue through the process. Okay. So when you're doing this sales process, guys, you have to have an abundance mindset and a win-win mentality. And the reason why you have to have that abundance mindset is because there's so much opportunity out there. If you cling on to that one lead and you're like, oh my gosh, I have to get this deal. You have that sales breath and you're like, oh my gosh, like if I don't close on this one, my life will not be the same and it's not good. There's a lot of opportunity out there, guys. You have to believe that, because if not, then it's going to come through in your energy, your aura when you're talking. Just let them know, hey, I'm here for you. I'm here to help you out, help you to make the best decision possible. Okay. Guys, what's the most common hesitation sellers have? Okay. We kind of discussed this a little bit before, the most common problems that sellers have with salespeople. This is mine: trust and feeling pressured. I think that's the most common hesitation when they don't want to give you information. It's because they don't want to have it used against them. They don't know who you are. They don't trust you. Type in the comments what you guys believe is the most common hesitation sellers have. I'm interested to see what you guys think. What do you guys got for me? Whew. I might have just taken the main one, to be honest. Trust, that must be in my opinion, I think that's the main hesitation they have. They don't know you, they don't trust you. Type it in. Let me know what you guys are thinking as we go. I'm going to go to the next slide, but I hope you guys are with me here. This is in-depth training, I know, but it's good. This is going to help you guys close more deals. We got Jawan saying, trust, we are strangers calling in their mind. Most of the hesitation I have, someone else has reached them first. Okay, someone else has reached them. Understand uncertainty about the process. Perfect. That's why starting with the end in mind, Beverly, is so important, because when you let them know the end in mind and what you're trying to do, they might feel a little bit more comfortable about that process. Not completely, but enable the decision. They're going to feel a little better. Letting them know, hey, this is where we're going. And if it works out, great. And if we don't work together, that's okay. But at least I'm going to point you in the right direction. Okay. All right. Win fast, lose fast. We talked about that. Okay. You have to move quickly through your leads, guys. Like I was telling you, when I was dating a lot, I would hold fast to the girlfriends I had because I didn't want to go look again. I wouldn't say I was lazy. I just didn't like the process of looking. You might feel the same way in sales. Like, oh, I don't want to generate more leads. I don't want to prospect anymore. Let me just try and make this square peg fit in a round hole. Let me just try and make it work. That's not how it works, guys. You got to win fast, move quickly, and win fast, lose fast. Qualify the leads fast. Get to yes or no. Are we a good fit to work together? Do you want to sell your house? Yes or no? No, I don't. Oh, yes, I do. But I'm not sure if I have all the time in the world. I don't really need to sell that fast. Okay, well, you don't? Boom. Okay, well, maybe we can follow up. Here's my information. I'll put you in a drip campaign. You want to work with the hottest leads. Avoid wasting time on unmotivated sellers. I've done it, people. You can spend a year following up with someone that's unmotivated. That doesn't make it worth your time. Okay. Follow up with hot leads and keep momentum going. All right. I've already told you about the story with the grandma. Have you guys ever wasted too much time on a unmotivated seller? Comment waste wherever you're watching this, whenever you're watching this. I want to know if you've wasted time on a seller like I have. And I got way more stories than the grandma. Guys, when I was first starting, I would waste time with everyone because, again, I had limited leads. So I was like, I got to make this work. Don't do it, okay? It's better to spend your time prospecting and learning how to generate more leads than waste time on someone who's not motivated after you've had these conversations, okay? Let's see. All right, everybody. So the next thing is overcoming objections. All right. We all face objections, especially people that don't do this process. You're going to get a lot of objections, but you have to slow down when you hear something that doesn't sound right. All right. Everyone's felt that when they hear something and they're like, did I hear that right? Okay, never mind. I'm just going to keep going because whatever. I don't want to stop the momentum. No. Handling objections the painless way. What are yellow lights? That's what we're going to be discussing today. This is technically a yellow light, but what does it mean in the sales world? Yellow lights are concerns or hesitations that can slow down or derail your deal if not handled properly. Okay. Again, if it feels off, call it out. Okay. When you notice the yellow light, slow down, everybody, and explore it. When I say, I'm going to say this, and hopefully this makes sense for everybody. You have to slow down sometimes to speed up. Okay. If you just keep going, if you don't slow down, the the car is going to stop completely eventually. Like if the deal goes south or something, like if it doesn't work out because you didn't slow down. If you just keep going, there's something that probably can derail the deal. But if you slow down, eventually you're going to go faster, slow down to go faster, because you handled that objection and you handled what was going on. Okay. So that's what I mean. If you notice a yellow light, if you notice something off, talk about it. Okay. That's what friends do. If your friend comes in and is like moping around, like, oh, all sad, and you're just like, I'm not going to ask. Who cares? You wouldn't do that with a friend. You would say, hey, what's going on? You don't look too good. You look sad. What's up? Same thing with yellow lights. If you feel something off, freaking call it out. All right. The 3-part response for yellow lights. Okay. Use a softening statement. Slow the conversation down. Okay. This is how you're going to slow the conversation down. You can say, I have a concern, or maybe I'm a little confused, or hold on, maybe I didn't hear something right. Whatever, insert whatever. You're just slowing it down. Okay. State the concern clearly that you have. Okay. Hey, maybe I didn't understand. Be direct without being pushy. You said that you currently aren't sure where you want to, where you will go if you sell the house. Or you said you said you were just taking offers right now. Okay. So those are good reasons to stop. You could say, hey, I'm sorry, hold on. I'm a little concerned. I have a little concern. You said you're not really sure where you're going to go when you sell this house. Okay. And then you go to the next step, hand it back to them. Okay. After you let them know your concern, let them hand it back and say, what do you think we should do? What would happen? What would need to happen for us to move forward, or for you to move forward? So there's actually some good examples I wrote down, but that's how you slow down for a yellow light. You just say, hey, hold on. I'm sorry. Let's rewind that back. I have a concern. You said this. What should we do? Okay. So, and I'm going to give you guys some live, some like real examples of what this looks like. So you're not if it's confusing. So common yellow lights in wholesaling and how to respond. I need to talk to my family first. Okay. So this is how I would say it. I completely understand. Selling a home is a big decision, and it makes sense to involve your family. Totally get it. My concern is that waiting to talk to your whole family could take too long and might affect the timelines if we're trying to close quickly. You're in foreclosure. You're in pre-foreclosure. I'm afraid if you got to talk to your whole family, we might not be able to hear back from them in time where we're going to be able to get this done. We just have 7 days. We have 14 days. Hand it back to them. What do you think they would say if they were here right now? Would they say, hey, you probably should sell? Hey, you probably should accept that offer? What do you think they would say? Or when can we get everyone together? Okay. That's how you would slow down for the light, right? Or handle the objection. Here's another one. I just want to see what you'll offer. I know a lot of you guys get that. I'm just here to see. I just want to know what you'll offer. Stop asking me all these questions, right? Like I used to get that all the time as I was kind of diving deep into, talking with sellers. So softening statement. I get that. You want to know what your options are. Totally get that. My concern is that without knowing more about your situation, the offer might not be as strong as it could be. And I want to get you the best offer possible, sir. So hand it back to them and say, what's the most important thing to you about the offer? Is it speed or price? Okay. So you hand it back to them. These are how you handle the objections. And it's like handling an objection from a friend, right? You show concern. You're like, hey, hold on. I'm sorry. Let me make sure I understood that. Tell them what you're concerned about and say, hey, what should we do? What do you think we should do here? All right. And you got to practice this. This is a skill set you got to learn. And it doesn't just stick with wholesaling, right? This is in life in general. So these are the most common yellow lights that I could think about that slow sales down for wholesalers. I need to think about it. I need to take time to think. Oof, that's a tough one, guys. That's a tough one, right? But if you handle it the yellow light way that I showed you, hey, I'm a little concerned about that. I'm concerned because if you say you're just going to take all your time to think about it, I might never know how long that might take you. I don't know if you're talking to a ton of other people and, so what do you think I should do here? What should we do to move forward? Right? I need to check with someone else first. Okay. That's a tough one. I've gotten other offers and want to compare. I want to list with an agent instead. Okay, well, that one shouldn't come up because we've already discussed that with their options. I'm not in a rush to sell. Okay, that's like an unmotivated seller. Key tip, avoid skipping over these yellow lights, everybody. Addressing them early builds trust, and that's what we go for with the painless sales process, and prevents problems later in the process. Guys, I want to know from you, everybody that's watching this or will watch this, what are other common objections that you've seen? I want to know. So everybody that's watching, what are some other common objections? I think I hit quite a few. What are some common objections you have? I want to know what you're facing, especially Lisa, you just did a deal. I'm sure you've been dealing with some objections you've had to overcome. And just type them in there. I'm curious. I have better offers. Okay, that's a good objection. So let me show you how I would overcome that with the yellow light process. Okay, that we're talking about. So if you're talking to someone and they say, I have better offers. Okay, hold on. Let me just get in the slide. Let's use the softening statement process. Okay. So you're talking, they're like, but this is after you make the offer. I usually don't make the offer until I've gone through the whole process and understand the situation. But let's just say you've done that and then you give the offer and they're like, oh, hey, I have better offers. You could say, hey, I totally understand that. This actually might not work perfectly because you've already given your offer, but I'll tell you how I would overcome this objection. Hey, I totally get that, but I am a little concerned. I'm a little curious. On those offers that you've already received, are those like, do you feel very confident in working with those people? Like, do you think those are legit? Because unfortunately, like what a lot of people do sometimes is they'll make offers that are higher just to get people to sign the agreement with them, and they string them along, they waste their time, and then the last minute they try to renegotiate. Do you feel like that offer, would you mind telling me what it is? Oh, they're like, yeah, it's 180 and mine's 150. Wow, they're $30,000 higher than me, huh? Do you feel like that's legit, or do you think they could potentially be stringing you along? I know Open Door does this a lot. They actually did it to me. They offered me like a certain amount just so I would sign with them, and then later they lowballed me. It's very frustrating. Do you feel like that could happen to you? And I would have an open and honest conversation with them about it. If they're like, no, I feel like it's legit and I trust them. Well, there's not much I'm going to be able to do or say if they feel good about it and they trust the person, right? But I would say, hey, I just want to verify if you feel good. And if they're like, you know what, I don't know if I really do trust the person. Like, could you come up and give me a little bit better of an offer? Maybe we can work together. Then I'd say, okay, look, I think I could probably come up a little bit, like knowing that I'm at 150. And again, I don't make my final offer. I'd just say, you know, well, I don't want to say I don't make my final offer. I would say I don't want to say the price because I want to have them talk first. I would say, knowing that I'm at 150 and they're at 180, like where do you think it, how low or how close could you get to my offer? I could get to like 175 or 170, and then you can have that song and dance, that negotiation, right? But Lisa, I don't know if that was helpful, but that's how I would probably handle if they said they had better offers. I would attack the problem head on instead of just being like, oh, okay, well, let's keep talking or let's not talk. I would say, hey, let's talk about those offers you got. I'm curious. Did they come from, people that you feel like are legit? Okay. So hopefully that was helpful. I love this one. I'm not in foreclosure. I'm not in foreclosure. Yeah, that's a really good one. I'm not in foreclosure. You know what? A lot of the time that happens when you're calling people on the pre-foreclosure list and they say they're not in foreclosure. I would basically say, hey, look, I totally get that, but I did get your information from that list. And so either something's wrong or maybe you missed the payment or maybe your bank just messed up. But I would definitely look into it. But let's just say, for example, and I would dive deeper into that. Like, hey, is there by any chance that you could have missed the payment, which would have triggered you being on the foreclosure list or pre-foreclosure list? Just go right. I usually just attack things head on, right? With love and empathy. All right. So guys, this training's about over. I hope that this has been super helpful. My neighbor sold for my neighbor house sold for more, right? And then on that one, you could say, hey, I totally get it. My concern is, your neighbor's home potentially could have just been in a different condition. Throw it back at them. Do you happen to know what kind of condition it was in? That's kind of how I would handle those, right? And it's nothing like you're ever trying to convince them that, like, again, you're just asking questions and you're throwing it back at them so they can make the decision and they feel like they're in control, because they are, right? You can't make them sell to you. All right, guys, we got a couple slides left and then we're done. Hopefully this has been good. Guys, if you're watching this and you feel like this has been good, give me a 1 in the chat wherever you're watching. And if you feel like it's been okay, give me a 2, because, again, I want to be the best, I would say, trainer, the best professor I can for you all. So if you feel like this is a little bit, and I'm not going to be offended by any means. I'm always looking to improve. So if you feel like, this is all right, give me a 2, and then we can chat. Or we don't have to chat, but I would probably ask you, like, hey, why do you feel like that? And how can I improve, right? So 1, if you feel like this has been good so far, good information. 2, if you're like, step up your game, Nate. These lessons aren't that good. Okay. All right. We already got a 1, so I appreciate that, Beverly. Thank you. And if there's any 2s, don't be ashamed to do it too. I'm okay with it. Some 2s sometimes. All right. This is preparing for a seller meeting, guys. A lot of us wing it. All right. You're looking at Nathan Payne himself, the guy who's teaching you right now. I said wingman. I'm a winger. I wing stuff, right? That's just how I've lived my life. I just let me throw something together. I don't do that anymore. Professor Payne, the new and improved version 2025, he's preparing. He's coming prepared. He goes on seller appointments prepared. He comes presentations prepared. He's here to serve and do the best. But guys, there's an enemy. It's the enemy is people that just don't want to prepare. They don't want to work hard. They're just like, oh, let me just go with the flow, right? Like I'll figure it out as I go. Don't wing it. Don't be like me. Don't be this guy who's the winger. All right, just winging everything. Okay, that's like one of those non-smoking signs. Prepare yourself for your seller meetings. Be prepared for this process and practice. Here is how you prepare for a seller's meeting. Okay. And you guys can take a screenshot of this. You guys can watch the replay. This is how I prepare for my seller meetings. I set the goal. Okay. I know what I want to achieve before I go on the appointment. Okay. What do I want to happen? Do I want to qualify the seller? Do I want to present options? Do I want to get a decision made? Do I want to help them? Okay. They need to talk to their family. Are we helping them get to talk to their family? Like, what's the next step? The goal is always next step. We need to get them to the finish line eventually. So what's the next step? Okay. Example, should we move forward and work together on a solution that meets your needs? That would be a next step. Understand the problem. If you do not understand why they're selling, you're in trouble. Okay. Because you don't know if they're just going to eventually like, it's not that big of a deal, or I don't want to sell anymore. Understand the problem. I had a guy the day of close. He's like, I don't want to sell anymore. And I was like, dude, you told me that you need to sell. I didn't say this to him, but in my mind, I was like, he told me he needed to sell. He told me his whole problem. I knew he was just trying to go with another wholesaler. So I said, look, man, you told me you need to sell. The fact that you're saying today, the day of closing, you don't want to sell, that doesn't add up, because you're saying you need to sell. Obviously, there's someone else and you feel like you can get a better offer. I understand, but we've agreed. We've done everything we've said. And if you don't obviously sign, I filed an affidavit memorandum saying that, eventually you're going to have to sell to us because you agreed. And so if you don't want to sell now because you really don't want to sell, and you're just going to stay there, that's fine. But when you do sell, I'm going to be there and we're going to be ready to buy it. And he was like, oh, no, you can't do that. You can't make me sell to you. I'm like, well, what's the problem? You said you didn't want to sell. Bam, got him. He ended up closing the next day. Why? Because he was trying to go with another wholesaler, but I stopped him. Why? Because I understood the problem. Okay. If you didn't understand that problem, you might believe that he's like, oh yeah, I don't want to sell. No, I understood that problem. You ain't going nowhere, buddy. Okay. Understand the problem, identify the main issues, foreclosure, all that stuff. Focus on what matters most: speed, convenience, ease. That's why, again, I knew what to do in that situation. Prepare for objections. Okay. what we just talked about, what you guys all wrote, prepare. If you know they're in pre-foreclosure and there might be some objections like, oh, I don't know how to get a hold of my bank information. Oh, there's a lot of people, if they're in pre-foreclosure, there's probably a lot of people talking to them. So be prepared for those objections. List common objections and practice the responses with the 3-part frame. What's holding you back from moving forward today? Oh, well, I have a bunch of different offers. Well, how long are you going to be accepting offers for? When are you going to make a decision, just so I know when I can be in the mix? Precondition the meeting. We haven't talked about this, guys, but basically that's before you meet with the seller, you send a text explaining to them what you're going to be going over so they feel comfortable. Set expectations up front to avoid surprises. Example, I'd like to walk through your goals, share a few options with you, and answer any questions questions to see if we're a good fit to work together. That's a text that you could send to a seller or call them before your meeting and say, hey, this is what we're going to be going over, just so you're aware. Because a lot of sellers, they might be a little confused or concerned with the process. As I think Beverly was saying, let them know the process. Let them know what you're going over so there's no confusion and they feel comfortable. Guys, comment 1 if you feel like mastering this process would help you close more deals. That's what I really want to know. Do you guys feel like what we just went over would help you as you practice and master? And guys, it goes even more in depth than this. I only have so much time to go with you guys. But if you feel like mastering this process and enabling decisions, making people feel more comfortable, being more transparent in your process would help you do more deals, type 1. We got a lot of 1s coming in. I know this would help you guys because once I transitioned from trying to hard close people and just being like, yeah, if you don't accept my offer by tomorrow, I'm looking at buying a lot of different properties. If you don't accept, that's not going to get someone to sign if they don't like you, trust you, or like your offer. Instead, you say, hey, you know what? Before I even send your offer, like what would get you to sign today? Like, I don't want to make you an offer that you wouldn't accept. Offers should be like proposals. Okay. Like if you're going to give a girl a diamond ring or whatever, you should know when you propose if she's going to say yes or not, yes or no. I don't know how many of you know of someone that proposed and they got said no to, like the response was like, no, I'm not interested in marrying you. That shouldn't be a surprise in my opinion. I think that should be like, hey, if you're going to propose, you should know if the relationship is going that far, if you're all on the same page. Maybe the person that is proposing isn't taking his date through the sales process that I'm showing of enabling decisions, letting them know the end in mind. Hey, this is where I'd like to go. We're dating so we can eventually get married. Maybe he's just jumping right into it and he's hoping he can find someone that will just say yes to his proposal. That's not how it works. Okay. So it's the same thing with offers. When you make an offer, you should know if they say yes or no. A lot of people just throw out crappy offers and they hope someone will accept it. You should know. Okay. It's going to help your sales process. If when you make offers, you already know they're interested or not. All right. All right, everybody. So we're wrapping up. So you all are going to get my seller's playbook for free. Okay. This seller's playbook goes over what questions to ask, what options can you provide to sellers, novations, wholesale, BRRRR. It gives you all the different options. Your cash buyer strategy of talking to cash buyers, in the area, even if you don't have it under contract. You guys are all getting this. All you have to do is comment playbook and we will send this to you. If you comment it, Jackie, my virtual assistant, who is awesome from the Philippines, she's going to go in there and look at all the videos and see all the comments that say playbook, and she's going to send you this. It's a little mind map right here shoot, it logged me out. Whatever, you guys kind of see what it is here. It's just a mind map that has the playbook, okay? And then you click and it has nice, cool stuff coming on. Actually, let me I'll show you guys what it looks like. Why not? I'll walk you through. I think it's pretty. I think it's worth it to walk you guys through what the playbook looks like. Okay, this says sign up. I don't want to sign up. I'm already a dang member. Log in. All right, let me log in. All right, hold on. Let me get in that playbook. A lot of here it is. Okay. So this is what it looks like. We got Wellington, Byron, Beverly, Pamela, Lisa, Jawan, I believe, Jawan L. NB, Beverly. We got a lot saying playbook. So I'm glad you guys all want it. So this is what it looks like. Okay. It's a little mind map that I created. Seller solution playbook. It says, ask these questions. Okay. And then it says, depending on what they say to the questions and what their problem is, if they want speed, no time, want the highest price, depending on any of this, it tells you what options to offer them. Cash, seller finance, novation, house currently listed. Obviously, you can't do a novation if it's listed. Cash, owner carryback program. So it gives you the options to offer depending on the questions. I tell people to start with a cash offer and anchor. Don't give a final offer. Just anchor them low and give them a range. Hey, I'd like to be within this and this in price. Then you go the painless cash buyer strategy. Hey, if it's close, if they don't accept your offer range, but if it's close, then you can say, hey, do you mind if I run this by a couple of my cash buyers? Get it under contract or not. You can run it by some of your people. If the seller insists on wanting more money, you go creative financing, and this explains all the different creative options you can offer depending if they have a loan or not. And if they don't want to do creative, you can do novation, you can put it on the market. And if you guys don't know how to do novations or what contracts you need, I have another training that explains exactly how to fill out the paperwork for my real estate purchase contract. And it also includes a novation affidavit, attorney in fact, that if it gets signed, you're allowed to list properties on the MLS with a real estate agent. So if you guys want that training, just type in training. And Jackie will also send you a link to that video, but that would explain pretty much everything you need to know on, how to do these options. So you guys are getting that. I hope that's super helpful. It goes pretty in depth on that. Let's see. So I see a lot of people commenting playbook. We're going to make sure you guys get that. Another easy way to get this too, instead of just typing, obviously we're going to go through these and send you the stuff, but we also have these resources in our Facebook group. Okay. So guys, I hope this training was super helpful. I just have one last thing to ask you as we wrap up. I want to stay connected. The greatest gift that you guys could give me is if you could, wherever you're watching this or any videos that you watch from us in the future, if you could like, comment, or subscribe. I know a lot of people ask about that in the very beginning of their YouTube videos. I'm asking at the end after providing, trying to provide as much value as I can to you guys. This is what we're up against. I'm up against is I have these trainings. I want to give as much value to the world, but they don't show my stuff. Why do they not show my stuff? I don't know. I don't know if the algorithm doesn't like brown people. I don't know if it doesn't like my face, but a lot of my stuff doesn't get shown. All right. So wherever you're watching, if you guys could like, comment, subscribe. And the greatest thing you could do, obviously, is share my content, like this video, share wherever you're watching. If you could share, that'd mean a lot to me, guys. It would, okay? Because my goal, again, is to become the #1 educator in wholesaling real estate. And I believe I have what it takes, and I believe I can give a lot to people, but I can't unless I can get this in front of people. So I need your help. Join the Painless Flipping Facebook group. It's absolutely free. All these trainings go on there, and not only that, but we give you guys support. It's honestly like an amazing coaching program that doesn't cost you any money. Okay. And obviously if you guys outside of learning for free in the Painless Flipping group, if any of you guys are interested in working with me directly one-on-one in my apprenticeship where we do deals with you, we help you one-on-one. Again, this is not a sales pitch. This is just saying, if any of you have watched this and you're like, hey, I'd be interested in seeing what that would look like to work with Nathan Payne, Nathan Valley, our team, for us to help you with deals. We have a deal right now that we're working with one of our students, Carl, where he stopped a pre-foreclosure. The house was getting foreclosed on. It was an auction date. We told him how to stop it. He stopped it. Now he's working with the seller. He's got the pictures. Now we're dispoing the property. Guys, if you want to work with us hands-on at the Painless Flipping Apprenticeship where we make it painless for you, just go to painlessflipping.com. There's a little survey where you can fill it out. And obviously, if you qualify, we'll reach out to you or you book a call. And the reason why we say if you qualify is because we can't handle that many. There's only so many people we can work with hands-on. I wish I could work with everybody in the world. But anyway, so if you guys are interested in that, just DM me or go to painlessflipping.com and fill out the survey. and we'll hook you up with that. I love you all. I really do. I know you might be like, hell, how does Nathan Payne love me? He doesn't know who I am. How does Professor Payne love me? It's because I really do, guys. My goal, again, is to help you succeed. I want you to succeed. I want you all to crush it. My goal would be for you all to do many, many deals this year. And if I could be a little bit of that in part of your journey, that would make me happy. Okay. So again, love you. That's why I put a heart here. This has been Painless Flipping, and this has been Nathan Payne, Professor Payne, teaching you guys. I appreciate you all. Last thing is like and help us out so we can grow and get this from more people. Does anyone have any questions or anything they want to say before we sign out? This has been the end of the training on how to crush it in 2025 with the painless wholesaling sales process. Any questions, guys? I'm going to leave it open to some Q&A if any of you do have questions. And again, if you don't, totally cool. Just let me know. Good info. Thank you. No, thank you. I appreciate you. Thanks for tuning in. It means a lot to have you on here for sure. Anything else? Congrats again, Lisa. Go and let everybody know how you crushed that deal and how you're closing. I want to know a little bit more of that, and I want everyone to celebrate you in the group. So any other questions before we sign out, everybody? And if not, it's totally cool. Hopefully this training was gave you guys everything you needed. And if you guys do want to watch this again, there will be an encore training tonight in the Facebook group where you can watch this again. It'll just be this recording. So if you want to dive in a little bit deeper, doesn't look like there's many questions coming through here. So again, love you guys, and we'll see you on the next training. We do this every Thursday, a deep dive into a specific training. If you have a specific topic you want to learn about, just let me know, and I'll prepare a dope training for you. See you guys. Of course. Yeah. Thank you guys for being a part of this.